and stable roster in the SPL so far this split. I guess when you look back at spring, one of the unchanged.
Luminosity always sets the bar for North America, whether it's online, whether it's on land. They've always found ways to do it, and I think most of it is just the leadership that they have here between Jeff Hilla, between Barracuda, finding these new guns before back in Season 3 between Baskin, Scary D, and Mask has just worked out so well for them.
Susano Fafnir banned out by Luminosity. Bellona Osiris by Flashpoint. A couple of gods available, Raven one of them, but it's not a real go-to for Luminosity. Terra, however, is for our boy Jeff.
Jeff likes to play gods that has a lot of control to be able to just push and spam a bunch of his buttons, and that's just one option for him. Flashpoint gonna lock in this Ganesh, though. After receiving a little bit of nerfs to that Dharmic Pillar, a lot of teams have started to neglect this god, but Flashpoint not necessarily.
I agree, and I think these two support basically two of the old guard as well. Jeff Hindler and Shadowkey been around the scene for a very long time, since pretty much the spawn of the SPL. And Ganesha and Terra definitely going to be locked in earlier on. Nemesis for Luminosity for Mask in the jungle, not a real shock there. The Circuit, though, from Flashpoint, very early pick there, totally.
Yeah, Circuit being locked in for a Flashpoint with the Ganesh here. I think that they're going to look to try to lock down a lot of members here. And it's also a good idea to find a Circuit and push them back into those Dharmic Pillars. So if you escape, you're going to get pushed back in potentially without those beats.
Well, Hercules locked in for the solo lane here, and it's over to Luminosity for a couple more bans. The one interesting thing is, do we expect to see that Sol go to Baskin or to Barracuda? Because it's starting to slip back into the duo lane now and again.
That's true. Luminosity has been known when Xenotronics used to be on this team with Barracuda that they would flip-flop between Jingwei and Sol, allow Xenotronics to play Sol every now and then Jingwei for Barracuda. But with Baskin, I'm expecting it to actually be a real mage here, not necessarily the Sol.
Raven Isis banned out. Ho-Yi locked in for Flashpoint, so they're only really missing their mid laner so far. Kurdanos, that is still flexible for me, but I'm pretty sure we'll see Barracuda playing the Kurdanos.
Technically it is flexible, but I don't think I remember a time when Kurdanos was played in the mid lane. Luminosity,
two Nemesis?
Luminosity are breaking the meta here with these two Nemesis picks. You know what's better to kill Hercules with one Nemesis?
When Sunder gets nerfed, what you do is you get two Nemesises to make up for it.
That's true.
It's fine. Makes a lot of sense. We'll work that out for you in a moment to work out who the other pick is, but it's over to Flashpoint in the moment to work out who their mid lane is going to be. And knowing most of that composition, now we know all of it with Sun Wukong winning, who do you see? Anubis. Anubis?
I mean, okay, let's evaluate this, right? Flashpoint.
Yeah, I'm evaluating. Anubis.
So they're not making Valencia. They're mathematically out of the equation.
Sure.
They have this match and then weeks 4 and 5 to go still. Why not experiment?
I mean, there's experimentations and there's experimentations. Although I can't discredit Flashpoint because, you know, we saw Eager back at the World Championships run Anubis competitively and try to make it work for themselves in the mid lane. The damage output is insane.
Where's the love for Anubis, man? He's considered the meme of SMITE, but honestly, he brings a powerful punch.
Definitely.
He can absolutely melt Gold Furies and Fire Giants.
Agreed, Tully, but I think you're correct there. I think some of it is just a meme. Start of this game, though, look at this. 3-man grouping from Flashpoint to burst down the red very quickly. Across the way, Luminosity going to do their own red buff, as Luminosity with wave advantage in the mid lane now, going to head over and strip away the speed.
Sacrificing their own speed to be able to invade the enemy's speed, so not that bad of a loss here for Flashpoint, despite losing majority of the gold under that tier 1 mid tower, securing their own red at a quick rate.
Yeah, speed stolen away there by Flashpoint, and now the blue buff being looked at, but Scary D hanging around here could cause a couple of issues with that monkey, and now he's got a rotation coming from Mask and Baskin, and Flashpoint are just too far forward here, Tolly.
Oh, the gank here, but nice dash. Madman Mark caught in a lot of trouble. The good madness here, the cudgel, and the heat from Baskin securing the first blood on some Madman Mark. Not a way you want to make back your SPL debut.
I tell you what, though, I like what Mike did there, and it looked really stupid, but he walked back towards them, which made them all want to focus him instead of focusing Mirage. The good news is that Madman Mark, by doing that, he had teleport available, means he can get back to lane and not miss experience, where Mirage would have lost his speed and a little bit more.
Oh no, okay, Madman Mark still has the driving strike available, didn't use it to clear out the wave. Scaredy gonna knock up the Hercules player there. No blue buff on the Hercules, where Scary D invaded the blue.
Oh, Jeff was lucky to just dodge that ricochet from Sops there, as he got a little bit too far forward for his own good and got pretty heavily punished for it. Luminosity, though, returned to their jungle after finding the first blood, given over to Baskin on that Sol, who picked it up. Will be able to secure that blue buff.
Many people are not familiar with the name Sops here, but definitely Barracuda is playing against him quite consistently in ranked or other SPL teams or Challenger Cup teams back in the day for Sops. He likes to play aggressive whenever he needs to, and ShadowQ playing this Ganesh here seems that it's working out thus far, as they were able to push out the Luminosity dual lane, at least under their tier 1 tower for a little while.
I'm glad to see Sops in the SPL now getting a bit more playtime. The kid's been around a while. He's a lot like Xenotronics and Venenu, who both came into the league and started to try and make a couple of waves for themselves, try and find, you know, their own spot here. Sops has a chance to kind of grow now and push forward, but Mark's in trouble on the right.
Madman Mark needs to get out of there, but not going to be able to juke out. That somersault cloud landing is just too wide of a radius to juke out.
And so a nice lead for Scary D in the solo lane. No teleport this time round for Madman Mark to get back to the lane. And now it's pressure time for Scary D if he so chooses, just to push this in and rotate around. Unfortunately, there's nothing for him to really farm, so he could just take a quick trip back to base here and finish off those boots if he's got enough gold.
This is what happens whenever you get a little bit of assistance in the solo lane. It just goes a long way. You get a quick rotation from your jungle mid combination to find a kill onto the enemy solo lane. Now you have that level 5 versus 4 advantage. Then you find the solo kill.
The way you said that totally just took me back to the days when you used to be in solo lane and you were like, listen, just give me a little bit of help in the solo lane.
Just a level 2.
And I could run away with it, you know? That's what the old days used to be, where Solo Island was really an island.
That's true. Now everything has changed before. There's not too much kill potential without any sort of assistance from your jungler mid combination, but taking a lot of poke is Flashpoint.
Yeah, you can see what was happening there. As Flashpoint was kind of hanging around because they saw Man Ray and Mirage was slowly making a rotation. Luminosity didn't take the bait, though. They just farmed up the wave and went back to safety. And it's for both teams now to just clear their jungle out. But Flashpoint go for the fast Gold Fury here. They do have Anubis, and Anubis burst damage if they use it, combined with Ganesha, can do a lot of work. The Dharmic Pillars were not perfect, but the Gold Fury pickup was.
Man Ray slaying that Gold Fury at the 4-minute mark, but this is the strategy that Flashpoint has just revealed to Luminosity. Is like, all right, they just invested all their cooldowns to get this Gold Fury. We're going to start pushing them out under their own towers and be able to deny them the very valuable gold and experience.
Never seen that happen to one of the buffs there, with the wall combining with the slow. Lucky Sops didn't get aggressed on a little bit more by Barrow. I think if he actually had the winter stance on there, it could have been a bit of a different story, because those slows could have made an impact.
Also, not too much mana here for the driving strike. Nice pull from Madman Mark, securing his own blue buff.
And then now Luminosity just waiting for him to go and pick it up, or catch him coming back towards the lane. Bad news is they want to go and farm, so Madman Mark won't get his blue unless he risks it for the biscuit.
If he steps over there, he's going to get instantly Nemesis ultimate.
Sure, I agree with him just giving it up. The best news is he got the experience. Yeah, the buff's really helpful, but if he gives away that experience too, the lead Scary D has just develops a little bit more.
That's true. Now hitting level 7, trying to catch up to the Sun Wukong player. Blue buff did fizzle away, so he's not going to be able to pick up that one, but Scary D doesn't have too much mana to play with himself.
Yeah, not for the time being, but with a blue buff around its waist, he'll be able to regen slowly but surely. The 2 kills so far in this game, both the way of Luminosity, and both in the solo lane against Madman Mark. That's where the focus was after the early pressure. And they're looking for a bit more, because Mask is back at it again. Ultimate very early on. Madman Mark looking for the driving strike at the right time. Hits Scary D, standing him in place, trying to dance in the minions. But I don't think that dance is going to save him enough. He looked for a real hot triple tap, but even with a triple tap, Scary D would have survived, and Scary D wasn't even panicking about using his ultimate.
Just trying to clear the wave there. Madman Mark knew he was going to be dead there, at least cleared the wave. Jeff,
good play from ShadowQ. Knocking him in place, slowing him down, allowing Man Ray to set up for the all-in potential. Finding that pick was good. And if they would have found Barracuda, it would have got even better. But sadly, the Hunter will escape for now.
That ricochet almost ending the life out of Barracuda there, not finding that double triple bounce that he really wanted to find, but pokes him out enough to force Barracuda back to base, and he's going to miss out this next wave. Oh my goodness, if that hit.
That would have been close. I don't think it would have killed him. If it was the old school Ricochet, it would have been worth more damage on the triple shot.
True.
So, but these days, you know, it's all primed at the start. I don't think it would have killed him, although it would have been hot to see it happen.
That would have been a hot highlight play for Sops, just to kill Barracuda. Like, hey, I have a highlight play against Barracuda in the SPL.
Well, Madman Mark getting bullied out by Scary a little bit more. Scary doesn't even care about the brute minion following him. He'd rather poke down Madman all the way, and Mark is so low right now. In comes the clone again. Mark jukes him out, though, with the driving strike. So surprised Scary D fell for that one. Sadly enough, though, Mirage can't get the kiss off in time to cause Scary D some problems there.
I like what Madman Mark did by stunning out the Sun Wukong decoy. He reveals, he despawns it, so he's not going to take those in-hand damages. It also reveals the Sun Wukong, and it prevents the landing of Scary D or the decoy to tank the tower. Yes. So if Scary D commits to that,
oh, Scary's committed again, and once again, Man Ray to the rescue with the laser beam of doom. Mas comes around the back looking to pick it up and gets a big time ult for Baskin who ulted in place, and now the root from Jeff will sell Baskin for one. The chase is on for the rest, but the rest will escape for now. Speed buff being looked at. Shadow Q still coming back in there to try and secure it, and does so with a nice little trumpet call.
Not allowing Luminosity to get the stuff after the stuff, but not going to stop out that blue buff, and Luminosity just doing a great job grouping up, and Flashpoint are just too grouped. Now, there's a difference between grouping up for team fights and grouping up positionally, and all these AoE hits from Luminosity are just taken into full effect.
Mirage is in an awkward spot right now, and that Solar Blessing, sorry, that Stellar Burst coming out from Baskin will secure enough damage for Mas to clean up the kill with the chop from his two swords. Barracuda going to farm the left-hand side here. Problem is that Flashpoint keep dropping a couple of lives here totally that they don't need to drop.
But they found 2 kills for Man Ray on Anubis, and this is a god that is going to favor with more items. Already finishing off that Bancroft's talent before the boots, which is interesting because at one point you kind of need the penetration, but on another hand is you're stationary anyway as an Anubis. If you get this damage from the Bancrofts, your ultimate it's just going to melt people like a lightsaber through butter.
It really will, and that lifesteal, very important for him to get as well, so already invest into the full Bancrofts. I would like to see Mask maybe go for Thorns here, just because he could just tank it with the shield and the Thorns, potentially get Man Ray to kill himself. It's a janky sort of thing to do, but it's funny as hell when it happens.
That's true. Thorns would make Man Ray's life more difficult than it needs to be, but also a good idea would be that Bracer of Undoing.
Yeah,
you take all that burst, and then all of a sudden you pull that surprise
factor. Why are you so smart? Like, you go for the smart thing, and I'm like, let's go for the fun thing. I go for Thorns to try and kill him, and you're like, Bracer of Undoing, and then just ruffle stomp him.
It's just fun to, like, to win, man.
Shadow Q and a bit of pressure here. Got a silence in place. Rooted straight afterwards, though. Does manage to disengage in time as there's a commit going in from Mirage. Mirage going to get bursted down by Basket, but Man Ray will pick up Mask in the meantime. Shadow Q turns into a little piggy as in the sky is a monkey looking for Man Ray too. Anubis will live to fight another day. Sops comes around the corner with the Suns, but didn't really find a target he was after. Luminosity 4 members strong looking for the tier 1.
They have enough damage here between Barracuda and Baskin. Madman Mark needs to driving strike away the boulder.
Oh,
just
Baskin!
for good measure. Baskin!
Oh, the ricochet from Sops will clean him up. The tier 1 tower does fall. Luminosity lose 2 lives for the 1 that Flashpoint end up losing there. And the Gold Fury's available.
It is available, but Man Ray doesn't have his ultimate.
He's still got a lot of damage
to burn this one down. Barracuda's here alongside Jeff.
And it's the dual lane versus 4 members of Flashpoint. Jeff gonna throw out the heal to resustain back up. Gold Fury has been reset. Scary D teleporting around the back, but Barra's already dead. Madman Mark driving strikes him back to the fountain. Scary D with a Jingu bang on Sops, turns around, Tiger forms onto Man Ray. Nice silence from Shadow Q to stop Mask getting damage off, but Man Ray uses Aegis too early, and Scary D will now get a free kill. The walls coming in from Terra, as meanwhile Sops has to jump back towards mid lane, still giving chases Scary D a little bit too deep. No cloud for him to get away. Mask in support, but already Scary D's fallen down. Luminosity playing the fighting game here.
Barracuda sacrificing his life to prevent Flashpoint from getting that goal for you, but Scary D diving after the kill onto Man Ray really tried to disrupt the flow coming out of Mirage there. Shadow Q having to use the Dharmic Pillars just to peel for his jungler a little bit longer, and a clutch rotation from Madman Mark underneath, finding the driving strike onto Scary D.
Interesting adjustments in North America though, Tolly, because we talked all through Spring Split. When we went to Masters, North American players were all saying, we're kind of behind on objective control. So we've got two extents here. LG have really shown their objective control has been a focal point for them in this split, and rightfully so. It's been the biggest change we've seen in their playstyle. Flashpoint, however, recognizing it too, they've gone for a different sort of variation of get all the gods that can burst objectives down very quickly.
I mean, you could go for all this objective control at a quick rate, but you're sacrificing a lot of farm. Look at Mask versus Mirage here. 12 versus 10, already finding that second relic on the Sunder, and that's going to be a huge tool to try to burn through Man-Man marks.
The scariest thing is how far Baskin's build will accelerate as time goes on. He's top of the net worth right now as it stands. Luminosity defending the Gold Fury once again. They've got a ward down here. Oracle's spawn. If they get these two, it makes it a little bit easier, but Flashpoint defending them well.
Trying to find some sort of gold under their belt. Mirage making the rotation, not wanting to commit onto Baskin, surprisingly, but look at Barracuda right behind the gold.
Dharmic Pillars down for Shadow Q, silences Jeff in place. Jeff walks over the slowest, Mask goes in, but takes a lot of burst damage. The laser from Manway, he couldn't clean it up. Barra found the target he was looking for. The Anubis is dead. Next on the list is Madman Mark, chipped down and whittled down to death. Barracuda survives alongside Jeff Hindler. The rest of Flashpoint disorganized in disarray and disaster as Luminosity will get the Gold Fury after that engagement.
Great pincer maneuver from Luminosity. 3 members from the south going north, Barracuda from the west going east, and then I think it was Scary D going from the east to west, just all collapsing underneath. Man Ray just gets melted completely.
North, west, east, south. All I know is the map is going north so far. At least that's what Luminosity is doing. They take the tier 1 tower in the mid lane a little bit earlier on. Scary D gets to pressure the right-hand tier 1 tower too, and the Portal Demon is already down. You know, things are going Luminosity's way. It started okay for Flashpoint in the first few minutes. They did what their comp was designed to do, but since then, Luminosity have fought back into this game.
I mean, with the exception of Madman Mark dying,
exactly.
They got the Gold Fury at around the 3 or 4 minute mark with that Dharmic Pillar, with the ultimate from Man Ray's Anubis, but they couldn't do it a second time in a row. Luminosity stopped the efforts from before, and now they're starting to group up and win these team fights very convincingly.
And we saw the awkward thing that Man Ray had to deal with on the Anubis that time round. With Terra's Blessing activated, the extra mobility is solid, and Mask with a speed buff and the dash. It's very tricky to pin someone down with the ultimate, Toli. You have to be very accurate because it's a dot damage ultimate.
Also, any sort of extra mobility makes that so much difficult to hit, right?
Sure.
More difficult than it needs to be. You have Stone Cutting Sword as well onto Mask.
Red buff stolen away, or at least attempted by Luminosity here. Grasping Hands will not steal it in time. Luminosity pick it up and give it over to Baskin, who sends out a Stellar Burst Shadow Q's way. 4 members of Flashpoint still waiting to dance here, and I'm not sure why. Madman Mark just teleported in. I don't agree with this call here. Why are we trying to fight?
I mean, this is their own jungle. They want to make sure that they keep their own tier 1 tower on the left-hand side alive as Luminosity begins to pressure it. Already at less than half health. A stun onto Madman Mark.
Ulted in place, rooted as well, but there's a big old brace of undoing. Back to safety. Scary D was flanking around the back. He gets laser beamed by Man Ray, but still slipping away to safety. The poison was ticking from Mirage too, but Scary D with the great escape and survival of Luminosity as a whole 5-man unit.
That wasn't even Bracer of Undoing. That was just his straight up mitigate wounds.
That looked like so much like Bracer of Undoing.
I was confused though because he used it while he was in the piggy form, but it just procced the heal after the fact.
Well, very, very close. Baskin in mid, pressured by Madman Mark. No escape this time for Madman Mark, who overextended just a little bit there. I don't know if Flashpoint were ready for it because you saw Mirage was heading off to get speed buff, which he did. Sops now under pressure on the left-hand side, and Sops is going to be a noble casualty. He's been left to the wayside by Flashpoint as Luminosity claim his life too.
Such clean picks coming out of Luminosity, catching Madman Mark in mid, chasing down Sobs till the end of the world. This Terra's Blessing from Jeff Hilla just allowing Luminosity to go for every single kill.
Risky at 15 minutes, this totally, is it not?
A little bit here. There isn't any ultimates to confirm this.
In comes, though. Shadow Q's trying to get here, but body blocked to death by Scary D. You know he was just trying to drop the Dharmic Pillars. In the end, it's a celebration, Dharmic Pillars, of a quick trip back to base. 15-6, 5 members of LG with the Fire Giant.
A lot of a different story compared to the last set here.
The last 2 sets, to be fair.
Honestly, yes. Luminosity just controlling Flashpoint from the get-go.
I mean, it wasn't right from the get-go. Yeah, they got the kill in the solo lane. I understand Flashpoint looking for maybe objective fights. Consistently get the Gold Fury on cooldown, keep Luminosity off a bit, get a bit of a lead. As the game goes on, they scale pretty well into the late game. Problem is that Luminosity just kept finding picks, and the burst didn't work out so well at the second Gold Fury attempt.
It just seems that Mask is baiting a great amount of cooldowns here with his Retribution here, whereas and Mirage can't find the picks that he really wants. So he found that one pick onto Mask by sacrificing his own life in return, but it's also the story of the mid laners here. Baskin has more defensive options than Man Ray, whereas his only peel is the damage that he does himself.
Well, Paul Demon goes down the way of Luminosity 2. They'll take a quick trip back to base to spend all that lovely gold they got for themselves. And it's onto tier 2 towers then, potentially, Tolly, because tier 1 on the left isn't going to stand much longer either.
No, not at all. That dual lane tier 1 tower for Flashpoint will go down very quickly here. Fire Giant still for 2 minutes and 40 seconds on the side of Luminosity. And the question remains is, where do they want to go? Do they even go mid or straight to the left?
Mask is going to drop a sentry straight away and clear out the ward coverage from Flashpoint there. Oh, I should say there was already a sentry down as Mirage dropped it. Meanwhile, though, Luminosity looking for the tier 2 in mid lane. Barracuda and Baskin with 2 in-handers available to them. They will strip down these towers very quickly. Will they go for the Phoenix here? Looks like that's the call.
They have a wave right under their belt here. Man Ray can't clear as fast as he wants to. Already the shots coming into full effect.
Oh my god, the damage from that Stellar Burst was huge. The Phoenix has fallen and Man Ray's ultimate wasn't deep enough to put enough pressure on. Phoenix finally falls as Man Ray's slipping away from Scary D. The Jingu Bang hits, but Mass will claim up Mirage as Baskin takes out Shadow Q. Luminosity? No, go for the Phoenix. I was like, no, come on, calm down. 17.5 minutes going in? No, calm down.
They had the decoy available. I thought they might have potentially looked for a Man-Man Mark. Gonna eat a stun for his trouble. Baskin finally making the rotation on the right-hand side. The crits onto Man-Man Mark, though.
They are backdooring this Tolly, and it's taking its toll. It's taking its time. The juggle of aggro important from Luminosity. They get 2 Phoenixes, and they're thinking about diving in for a second, but I think the call from Luminosity, rightly so, is fall back. 2 Phoenixes in under 18 minutes. Yeah, hit that F6 button, boys.
Not a bad margin of gold advantage for Luminosity here. They still have Fire Giant for another minute 15 seconds. They have 2,000 gold just waiting to be claimed off of the towers on the left. Another 3,000 or so off of the gold here that's coming up too. So Luminosity looking very comfortable in this first game.
So other than the picks in solo lane onto Man-Man Mark, what else went wrong for Flashpoint this game?
I think the fact that they couldn't get a second Gold Fury was the issue. Like, you could sacrifice your solo lane on purpose if you get Gold Furies on cooldown every single time. But Luminosity, after the first time, they sniffed out the second attempt. They sacrificed Barra's life in the process and managed to hold on to this game.
Well, Gold Fury is going to go to Luminosity 2, just extending their gold lead even further, now approaching 14,000, and it will definitely climb over 14,000 if these 2 towers go down. Tier 1, backdoored by Jeff Inlet and Barracuda, it means a full minion wave will survive to start at the Tier 2.
It's time for Flashpoint to be discussing strategies for the second game at this point, because realistically, it's very improbable for them to get back into this one. So as an SPL team, you're always thinking about ways that you can min-max your time effectively to be able to come back in the set.
Well, let's see what they can change. Man-Man Mark gets all in straight away, and Man-Man Mark is already dead. Dharmic Pillars are down there from Shadow Q. Man Ray will pick up a kill, however, onto Mask, making it a 1 for 2 so far, but in goes Luminosity.
I mean, you might lose Mask, but you still have Baskin and Barracuda to do the damage. Baskin takes out one, Barracuda takes out the other. It's only Shadow Q to stay alive as his last Phoenix gets taken out.
Only the last BG left standing. Middle Phoenix is already down, so's the right. Time to go for the Titan. Dead on 20 minutes here. The last stand of Shadow Cube. No ultimate available this time round. The Elephant will not forget that encounter, that's for sure. Barracuda credited with a kill. Titan falls down. Luminosity, another win under their belt.